The NFL draft starts today, but getting drafted is actually just the first step in making the team. If you're new to the NFL, you may not realize that getting drafted doesn't guarantee that you'll make the final roster, and not getting drafted doesn't mean it's the end of your chance to make it in the NFL. The NFL draft takes place over 3 days starting today, and over the course of 7 rounds, 257 players will be drafted to NFL teams. All of the players who declared themselves eligible for the draft but went undrafted then become unrestricted free agents, meaning that they can be signed by any team. In addition to the NFL draft, there's also something called the supplemental draft. That draft is for players who were not eligible at the time of the NFL draft, or for players who had concerns around their eligibility at the time of the NFL draft. So what happens after a player goes drafted or undrafted? The first thing that happens is they report to rookie camps. At these camps, NFL teams are able to see how these rookies stack up against each other and potentially bring in some of those unrestricted free agents who went undrafted. This is a chance for them to start seeing how these players actually would fit into their roster. Condensing the entire timeline, we also have something called training camp. And during training camp, players might find out that they are expected to change positions and really prove that they should make the final roster. During the training camp period, NFL teams can actually have 90 players on their roster. But before the season starts, they have to cut that roster down to only 53 players. Meaning that even though right now we start out with 7 rounds of players being drafted into the NFL, plus a supplemental draft and the ability to sign unrestricted free agents, all of those players who come into the NFL, along with the players who are already in the league, make up rosters that come to 90 players. And then before the season starts, they all have to prove their worth of remaining on the roster. Because before the season starts, 37 players will be cut from each team. And the players who are cut may be moved to a team's practice roster, or they may be released so that another team can sign them. But the thing that is kind of cool about the way the NFL rosters work is that even if your college record doesn't result in you getting drafted to a team, you could still make it onto a training camp roster and really prove yourself in terms of being an asset to the team. So you could go undrafted and still end up with an active roster spot before the season starts. The downside, though, is that just because you get drafted doesn't mean you'll make the final roster. So some of the players who do get drafted over the 3 days of the NFL draft may not actually make it onto a final roster by the time the season starts. Either way, football is officially back as the NFL draft starts tonight. So let me know which players you are hoping to see go to which teams and who you're excited to see become an official rookie in the NFL.